What's up, y'all? GoofyRhexxi here. Hope everybody is doing well, and wanted to make a video and talk about Scourge teams for the upcoming Famine Scourge event, which we don't have a specific date on as of yet, but a lot of videos I've made a few of them have talked about the Young Avengers and Inhumans and sort of comps that you can use there. But we did get some data mines here that gave us some information on what the other nodes are going to look like. And there was a video that went out last week that was pulled down, but also shared some information in regards to what some of the nodes are going to look like as well for the Scourge event. So for nodes 1 and 2, looks like City is going to be the trait that you're going to need. Nodes 3 and 4, Mutant is going to be needed here. For node 5 at lower difficulties, for difficulty 4, you're going to need Hero. And then for difficulty 5 and above, of course, that's where you're going to need your A-Force, your Inhuman, your Young Avenger. And then you got your villain sections right here, your 2 notes for villains, and Cosmic for difficulty 4. And then for difficulty 5 higher, you actually need Cosmic and Mystic in order to be able to do that. And then Cosmic, Mystic here, and then Hero. So we're going to go through some team comps that I am going to use. And ultimately, I'm kind of just going through my thought process of the team here and presenting some options. Not so that you have to use these options yourself, but just saying that these are some of what I found to be, I think, the best comps that you could probably come up with. And I tried to do it as much as I possibly could based on going free to play, but it was kind of challenging for some of this stuff because it's just kind of just where the characters are in the game right now. So I did the best that I possibly could here, but let's dive into it. So I'm going to talk about the city options that I would recommend here. So for me, I got Morbius and Ghost Rider here with Shang-Chi, Cloak, and then, well, Dagger and then Cloak. And my thought really for this team is just to kind of, I want a team that's going to be very quick in terms of damage and being able to burst characters down. I'm assuming that most players, not everyone, right? That nothing is ever every and all. But I believe that most players probably would have built out Dark Hunters to a certain extent to trap from the previous Scourge event. So that's the reason why I threw them here. Cloak and Dagger work really well together. They throw out a lot of negative effects. Shang-Chi does an amazing amount of damage. Can also provide a little bit of healing for the rest of the team with a special ability. Super fast, low cooldown character as well. Ghost Rider also provides a lot of solid damage. So does Morbius. And also because of the negative effects that Cloak and Dagger can apply, really kind of all these characters can apply. Whenever there's a negative effect that's applied to the enemy team, it will speed up Morbius. It will speed up Ghost Rider as well. It will allow for them to be able to do more damage and kind of do it in a rapid pace. So that's kind of my thought process here by using this top team. The second team, once again, this is me looking at the Pestilence Scourge event and saying, okay, well, most players probably built out their web warriors to be able to get through that, right? If you were doing difficulty 5 at least, or 5 or higher. So I threw web warriors here, but I did take out Spider-Punk because Spider-Punk doesn't really do much outside of raids. So I didn't really think that there was going to be much value here other than some dodges, doing a little bit of damage, maybe a couple AoE attacks. I thought that the better play here was to use Symbiote Spider-Man. Now, I don't know if Symbiote Spider-Man is not, where is he? I think he was just changed in terms of where he's farmable, but I do think that some players may have been able to get lucky with getting Symbiote Spider-Man. I think he's still in Doom 4.9. But I like his passive ability because he can give 30% max health to the other Spider-Verse characters, the Web Warrior characters that are part of the team. He also does have a little bit of a dodge chance within himself too. But I also like him for his 2-turn slow with his ultimate. I like the fact that he can also extend negative effects. It's also a low cooldown with his special. So I'm thinking about Ghost Spider, right? Who can apply an ability block. Well, now I can extend that ability block with a special ability. So I like sort of the play there, the boosted max health for the team, but then also him being able to sort of kind of work and synergize with them decently well as well, and this provides a little bit more value than Spider-Punk would outside of raids. Obviously in raids you're definitely going to want to use the full team together. So that's for me in terms of city, the options that I would go with. Now for your mutant section, I'm not entirely convinced about Phoenix. I feel like there's probably going to be a note or two that's going to be anti-Phoenix. However, I'm putting her on this team here with Magic and the other X-Men characters. I think these three obviously are the stalwarts, right? In terms of the X-Men team, you have Bishop, there's Jubilee, there's Beast. They work really well together. But Kitty Pryde and Iceman don't really do much outside of raids as well. So I kind of wanted to find some other alternative options for those two characters. And I thought Magic definitely slid in as a good character here that could definitely benefit and help out the team. Once again, it's because of her passive ability. So her passive on spawn will bury herself and all X-Men allies for 30% of her max health. She's also now farmable too, so you can get shards for her a little bit easier. She does have some out of turn damage when she does get to her max charge, where she can do 500% damage when she does get to that max 20 charge. And when any enemy attacks any X-Men ally, which all of these characters are, she's going to be able to gain those charges, right? So for me, I think that will provide some solid value here. She also does give other X-Men allies drain, right? So she'll give them an extra 20% drain to the X-Men characters as well. So I do like this too. I think that Magic will help the team to be a little bit more to sustain themselves a little bit more. So I kind of found that she would be a nice little plug and play character here. And Phoenix could help out as well with just some extra additional damage, can also cloak the rest of the team too if they get into any danger. So yeah, that's the reason why I kind of have them there. Now this one is a little interesting, and I'll kind of give you my thought process on this. So I went with X Factor, and I threw Gambit in here because my thought process on this, and not everybody's going to be able to get Gambit, right? So I am very much aware of that. But the reason why I like Gambit is because of his passive ability. When an enemy takes a turn, he has the retaliation damage, and he can actually crit on the retaliation damage. If he crits, then he can speed up the rest of the X Factor team. Mainly, I'm looking to speed up Longshot and Shatterstar, which will allow them to be able to do a little bit more damage. So therefore, I'm kind of thinking, all right, well, if I have Gambit, if I've built him up, I can take advantage of that outer turn damage, can get the crits going, can speed the team up, and provide some maybe quick burst damage. Maybe they're not your main team. Maybe you use the other team as your main team, but using this probably as maybe the start off a node or maybe finish off a node, I think is probably a good direction to go. And those are my kind of thought processes there. All right, the next team. So I went with Hero. So based on, if we're going back to this list right here, for players who are doing difficulty 4, you're gonna need a hero team. So I kind of threw this team in here and figured, okay, well, let's see what I haven't used yet for the other team comps, and let's find a hero team that could potentially work. So I went with Secret Avengers because I don't think you're gonna use them anywhere else throughout the rest of the Scourge event. As just a primary hero team. So I went with Secret Avengers here, threw in Nick Fury, and then threw in Shuri. Now, the only concern that I have is that you probably don't have enough damage to go around. So this is going to be a high sustain team, and your hope here is that you're going to be able to out sustain the enemy team, right? That's kind of my thought process. You can still get some decent damage from Sharon Carter and Captain Sam. Hopefully she can give them some offense up to make them do some damage here. Shuri, because of her passive that works outside of raids now, where she can give the flex if an ally gets below 50%. That means that Maria Hill can then also provide heals whenever an ally blocks. So that's sort of kind of my thought here with this team. That's the reason why I sort of put them together. So those are my thoughts. If you have any questions, just let me know. And then, of course, obviously, if you're doing difficulty 5 and higher, then I think the best overall team is going to be your full Young Avengers team with Miss Marvel, Squirrel Girl, America Chavez, Echo, and Kate Bishop. But of course, if you don't have Echo, if you we're not able to get enough shards for either one of these characters, then I did want to provide some other options that are available, right? So I went with, for here, you can see this comp. I went with Squirrel Girl, Yo-Yo, Miles, CM, and then Miss Marvel. Some of these, Miles and CM are hero brawlers, so they'll be able to get benefit from the assist mechanic with Miss Marvel. Yo-Yo I like here to be able to provide some additional sustain with her offense downs from her passive ability. And then Squirrel Girl, of course, is just a beast. You kind of want to keep her here as just a healer. I feel like these nodes are probably going to be the most challenging nodes, so you're definitely going to want to have Squirrel Girl here. So that's the reason why she's there. Here I made a little bit of and CM does a lot of good damage too. Right here, I did a little bit of a modification. I took off CM and then threw in Black Bolt as an alternative option. Black Bolt will get the assist from Yo-Yo with the basic ability. So that was my thought here. Well, okay, maybe I want to take advantage of a little bit more some other mechanics that could probably work for me. So yeah, with the assist from Yo-Yo, with the basic, being able to call Black Bolt can clear positive effects. Also the burp factor, if we get a character into the red, I think that will definitely be a good direction to go in. So that's the reason why I kind of made this comp here. And I think this could work if you don't have some of the other characters, because all of these characters here are free to play accessible. So therefore, I kind of wanted to point these teams out. Obviously, Black Bolt's a legendary, so it's a little bit harder to get, but I think that these two comps here could definitely work. And of course, if you're going with the full A-Force team, I think Yo-Yo probably could work here. That's the reason why I just threw her A. If you're using the rest of the A-Force, Spider-Woman, Nico, JJ, CM together, I think Yo-Yo with the offense downs will give this team enough sustain to be able to kind of do some damage and kind of get through some of the nodes here. All right, so those are my thoughts on that. The next section is going to be your villain section. Villains kind of sucks if you're an earlier player. I just don't know like what direction to really kind of coach and to go in if you're an earlier player and you have to do villains. So I apologize if this is not probably great for you, but this is probably what I found to be decent enough. These two teams that are right here. As you can see, I'm trying to go with like 2 teams per section, right? Because you don't know what you're going to get. So therefore, I'm kind of going with 2 teams per section. So I found that the last Scourge for villains without having Doom, I don't think it was possible. I find it to be very challenging at higher difficulties. Obviously, at lower difficulties, maybe you can find a way. So Doom, Emma, the 3 Darkhold characters, Morgan Le Fay, Agatha. I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory. Not really much to talk about there. Here I went because it's a villain section. You're not going to have Wolverine, so I just picked probably one of the better characters that I had on my roster available to kind of slot in there. And I used Doc Ock. Doc Ock could provide some sustain. Thinking about throwing him in the middle between Silver Samurai, who will taunt, and then also Omega Red. Being able to probably give him some deflects, helping to probably speed them up a little bit. That's the reason why I kind of plugged them in right there. So I'm thinking that this comp could work. Lady Deathstrike and Sabretooth will provide a little bit additional damage. Omega Red, obviously the control. So those are my thoughts there. Other than that, I mean, just looking at the villain section, like really quickly here, if we want to talk about it, it's just very challenging for me to really even find something to theory craft for younger players or for earlier players. I thought about Black Order, like maybe if you have the full Black Order team, maybe you can build them up and use them for a node or 2, but they are an older team, so they may not do as well as one would hope and desire for them to do. So that's something to think about. There are some individual characters that could provide some value here, like Ghost could provide some value. There's Carnage here, and they're just not really great options. I guess Morbius is here, but I would probably say to use Morbius on your city team. Villains is just very challenging. It's very tough. There's nothing else I can say about it other than that. It's just going to be very difficult to find some good options there. If I think of anything else, if anyone thinks of anything else, leave it in the chat. If I think of anything else, I'll also talk about it a little bit later on too. But moving forward here, the next section is going to be, I'm actually forgetting what that's going to be. So now after villains, if you're doing difficulty 4, then you need cosmic only. If you're doing difficulty 5 up, you're going to need both cosmic characters that have cosmic and the mystic trait. So this is what I came up with for cosmic only. Eternals with Deathpool, Silver Surfer, Kestrel. Yeah, no brainer team there. They're definitely strong. If you don't have maybe Eternals, then I think as long as you were here for, I should have said this too, for Omega Red. I'm hoping that Omega Red comes around for a legendary unlock by the time that the Scourge event rolls around, because he's been delayed. So I'm hoping that that's not going to continue before the Scourge event. Hopefully the Scourge event will come before the Scourge event, so players who don't have Omega Red will at least be able to have him as an available option for the villain section. All right, and then like let's jump back to Cosmic here. For Cosmic only, the full Infinity Watch team will work as long as you, of course, have Adam Warlock. If you don't have Adam Warlock available, you can also just plug and play Kestrel as a Cosmic character too. So, and that worked. I think that will still work pretty well. It worked well before Adam Warlock got released. So I think Kestrel with the rest of the Infinity Watch team will be fine. For Cosmic Mystic, I went with just kind of a simple team that I think will kind of just blast through everything here. Cersei with Deathpool, Adam Warlock, Silver Surfer, and then Icarus is what I thought would probably be the easiest and what makes the most sense for Cosmic Mystic where that's concerned. So these are my teams, guys. These are the teams that I'm recommending here, or at least that I'm going to be using. You can take this information, of course, and maybe kind of finagle it to work for your roster, but I'm hoping that this was helpful, right? I'm hoping that ultimately this was helpful. If you have any questions about my thought process on any of these things, let me know. Happy to help out, happy to answer questions. If you have any other suggestions, alternative suggestions that you think would work better, also happy to hear that as well. Ultimately, want everybody to be able to be successful in the Scourge event. It's a grind if you're shooting for top high numbers, so trying to be creative as best as possible, right, to be able to get this done. So listen, appreciate you guys watching the video. If you like the video, don't forget to like. If it's the first time coming to the channel here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. If you want to continue to see more Marvel Strike Force content, hit the notification bell so that you know when the videos do go live. And until next time, guys, y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe. Bye.